First of all, how do you feel that How's the Josh became such a huge line, and pretty much everybody in the whole world knows it?
So, on the day of the shoot, we had, obviously it was a part of the script, but Vicky kind of was not very convinced with the line because he felt that I don't know what the motivation is for the leader to tell his in this particular scene. And I basically made him, and my associate producer was also there, Sonia Kanwar, and we were just making him understand that this is how they motivate their soldiers. This is actually a line which is used in army, in defense services, where they motivate, this is how they motivate. And I said, just do it once. If you don't feel convinced, I'll change the line. He just went ahead. It was the first time in the film when How's the Josh scene happens after the Myanmar attack. And the moment he said it, and the way he said it, he himself and everybody around him suddenly had goosebumps. And suddenly he turned around after the cut and he said, I think we're going to keep this line. That's how it worked.
And with casting Vicky Kaushal, did you have anybody else in mind, or was he definitely the top of your list?
Not at all. Vicky I've known since Masan. I had watched Masan, and I called him up and I said, like, once in my lifetime I want to make a film with you for sure, because you're such an incredible actor. And my whole point was that when we were casting Vicky, and hats off to Ronnie, my producer, Ronnie Screwwala, that the moment he asked me who do you want to cast, I said it's a big film, in the sense, like, it's a big budgeted, decently budgeted film. So, but I want to cast a comparatively a newer guy. So he said, who is that? So I said, Vicky. So, and he asked me why. I said, because Vicky is someone I see in this part, and I know that he's desperate to do something really, really good. And at the same time, he's somebody who will give me 6 months of training, and I will make sure that he transforms himself in 6 months. And the way he got into the character, the way he started training, it was incredible. It was just incredible. And hats off to him, hats off to the dedication of each and every actor in the film. Like I said, it's a complete team effort. That's how it happened.
Aditya, first of all, congratulations for winning the national award and for the wonderful film.
Thank you, sir.
My question is that this film has been used as a propaganda by the then and the now ruling party in the last election. There were a lot of allegations around that. How would you like to react on that?
See, what I'm trying to show in my film is chronologically what happened in those 10 days. Now, if the decision was taken by the current government, I actually cannot bypass that just because some people might feel it's a propaganda film. I'm telling you the reality, what happened in real. I will not, as a filmmaker, I need to be true to my craft more than I need to be true to certain section of the society. So I stuck to my guts. This was the story which actually had happened. This is how it was planned, and this is the closest I could get without making it into a documentary in a film space. This was the closest I could get, and I stuck to it because the whole point is if this film, I wouldn't have said this story, somebody else would have definitely said it, and it's impossible to negate the contribution of government. It's impossible to negate the contribution of ISRO and DRDO and all the technical teams which are involved in it. The same way as it was a completely army's point of view. So I wanted to show how everyone got together, including government and all the departments and everything, and for a single cause where they wanted to make it a point that we will not keep quiet this time. Like, we want to give a reply. Like, we want to give a reply to whatever has been happening to our soldiers. And I had to stay true to it. So if some section of society feels it's propaganda, I can't do anything about it.
Aditya, please tell us about your next movie. Did you plan? Any idea? Any plan to?
Yeah. So our next movie is already kind of announced. It's called Ashwathama. Ashwathama.
Yeah.
It's based on a character from Mahabharata. He was Dronacharya's son. And it's a superhero film which will be coming out we'll be starting our shoot next year, mid next year, and it's got Vicky Kaushal in it.
Drop your first movie idea, the shooting which.
No, that is something which I'll definitely do. It's called Raat Baki. That is something which I'll definitely do, but not right now. Because whenever we are doing a film, we might be starting the writing process or the pre-production right now, but the film will release after 2 years. So we have to keep in mind what's going to be relevant after 2 years. So I feel the kind of thing which I'm trying to do with Ashwathama, that is something which will be relevant after 2 years in Hindi films. Also because after 2 years, I feel that a tentpole film, like a event film or a spectacle film, has more chances of getting more eyeballs, like more theatrical releases than like a normal small budget film in Hindi. So yeah, so that is something because of which I've chosen Ashwathama. Yes. Yeah, you can say it. You can say it.
Hi, I'm Priyashri.
Hi.
A film like Uri, which has been commercially so successful and also critically acclaimed, do you think there's always been a distinction between a festival film and a commercial film, you know, like parallel cinema and commercial cinema? So do you think like a film like Uri, when it comes to a festival, so it will help in the future to narrow the line between the commercial and parallel cinema, and just cinema be cinema and, you know, art? And there's no distinction between the arts, because cinema, acting is acting, direction is direction, you know.
So this is something which used to happen a lot in 1960s in India, 60s and till 70s, 50s, 60s and 70s, when films like Mughal-e-Azam, which were commercially so successful at the same time, which were beautifully made films, or let's say Mother India, which was commercially so now the times are actually coming back to that how the things were in that era. I really hope it continues, because now people want content. It's nothing to do with like how big the star is or what is the project like. It's completely boils down to, like, right now it's come down to content. And people have become very smart because of social media and because of these digital platforms. They know exactly what is happening in the world. So because of that connection, because of that awareness, I feel that now the filmmakers will have to create more balance between commercial as well as content. Like, it cannot be that mindless commercial films which used to happen a few years back. Now it has to be a balance, and that itself will be really good for festivals, because then you are watching entertaining little commercial films, and at the same time those films can be little artistic also. So it will have every aspect connected to it. I feel so, yeah.